welcome into the reading. Happy full moon in Pisces. Today is also a lunar eclipse. So I decided to wake up really early and do some chart readings for you guys. So we're going to go sign by sign and see where this full moon in Pisces is playing out in our birth charts, and then maybe take a look at a couple transits that might be impacting this full moon energy. We're also going to pull a couple cards for each sign just to get a more intuitive look at how these energies are playing out for us. All right, so this is going to be a little bit of a longer video. I'll do my best to put the timestamp so that way you can fast forward and move around from sign to sign as you wish. Okay, so we're going to get started with Aries. Bear with me. This is the first time that I'm incorporating the astrology chart into my YouTube videos. So I used Lunar Astrology, which is a web-based software. So I'm going to have to go from sign to sign and do some manual changes as we move along. Anyway, okay, so we're going to get started with Aries. So Aries, the moon is in your 12th house right now, opposing the sun in your 6th house. So moon in Pisces is bringing up themes around your psychological state, okay, things, your behaviors, certain patterns that you may have, because this is a full moon. There's an energy that is cultivating, that is heightening. Is that a word? I don't know. But this energy is heightened definitely at this time. And I think that because it is opposing the sun in the 6th house, some of your like your mental state and these thoughts and belief systems that you are having right now may be super intense, that they are sort of affecting your physical state, okay, or your health in some way. So maybe you're a little too stressed out, that your body is starting to feel it, or your routine needs to be changed or updated in order to bring more peace and groundedness into your life. As we say, as within, so without, right? So if you have a mental scatterbrained, or you're just maybe a little anxious or overthinking, things like that, you may be starting to feel that in your body and also seeing it impact your routine and your daily life right now. So we're looking at the planets that rule the sign of Pisces today in these readings, because you want to get a little bit of sense of how the other transits are impacting this full moon. So we're looking at, if you want to look at the ancient astrology, we're going to be looking at Jupiter, because Jupiter in ancient astrology ruled the sign of Pisces, right? So luckily it's in a fellow water sign, which is bringing harmonious energy to this. I think that for you, Aries rising, it's important to create a safe, comfortable sanctuary in your home, in your, room, or wherever it is where you feel comfortable and at ease. Even if it has to do with like moving your room around, moving furniture around, bringing in, I'm getting more watery elements or more blues and greens into your environment might help. I also think that a mother or a female figure in your life may bring some comfort as well into your life. But in order to calm down and not stress out and create better habits and better routines here, it's important to look at your environment, where your home is, where you sleep, where you're most comfortable, and create a loving, nurturing space there. We're also going to look at Neptune, because in Western astrology, newer age astrology, Neptune rules the sign of Pisces. So as you can see, Neptune is retrograding in Aries, right, which is in your sign right now. But it's going to go back into the sign of Pisces at some point. Let me see. I know so December, October 22nd, it'll go and move back into Pisces. So Neptune is going to come back into the 12th house for you, into this more psychological place, this deep mental, personal place. Okay, this is our self-talk, our self-beliefs, you know, how we think about ourselves. And it could also bring up trauma. It could bring up past experiences. And with Neptune here hitting super close to Saturn, also retrograde in Pisces, there's definitely a karmic element coming through, where you may be revisiting some childhood situations that have deeply impacted you. And so I don't know, this could be a more subconscious thing. You may be having some dreams around these things, or just daydreaming. But it's a little bit of a spooky energy. You know, and I don't mean to scare anybody, but it does feel that way to me for you right now. So if you are feeling the goosebumps, or, you know, just having these experiences, I would again nurture and ground and go to a place that makes you feel comfortable and cozy. There's a lot to process for you here mentally, which is also hitting directly to, again, your routines and your physical state, as well as your emotions. And then later in the month, we're going to have a solar eclipse, which is the new moon in Virgo. Here, Mercury, the ruler of Virgo, will be impacting this solar eclipse pretty strongly. So it's going to bring some clarity to all of this stress and mental overstimulation that you might be having right now. So you'll see things more clearly in a couple of weeks once the new moon comes through, and you'll start to develop better habits and behaviors that will be able to calm yourself down, right? Okay, so that's it for Aries. I probably went a little too long there. Now let's go and check out the tarot, see what cards are coming up for you. Okay. All right, so a couple cards for the sign of Aries. How is this full moon affecting the Aries at this time, please? Sorry, I don't want to be too loud. Aries, Aries, Aries. Oops, somebody is awake. I'm telling you, I started this super early. Hope they don't come this way. Okay, so you have Judgment. Yeah, so again, those like self-limiting beliefs I'm getting, you know, maybe just over criticizing yourself or being too hard on yourself. And I think some of this stuff is coming through right now because of this more subconscious state that you're in. Subconsciously, maybe you are bringing up these past situations that are making you just overthink things and stress out too much. But going back to the cards, you have Judgment. This is going to be a peak moment of awareness around how you have been behaving lately based off of these thought processes that you have. And again, with Temperance, just going into that fourth house that I told you with Jupiter here, right? Literally ruling the fourth house of family, home, safety, stability, you know, the lower part of the birth chart just being really grounded and safe. You're okay, right? The Nine of Pentacles here is saying that you have everything you need and then some. So there's really no need to worry about the physical, your situation, or all of the what ifs, right? Like, what if this doesn't work out, or what if I lose this, or, you know, lose this person, or I don't know what it could be. But at least you know that physically and materially, financially, you're good. You're in a stable place. All of this is happening for a more internal reason. Okay, so again, that Saturn and Neptune karmic situation coming up, it is a personal thing. Okay, you're looking back into a certain trauma, your childhood, maybe certain events that have really impacted you. And sometimes they do come up again for us to revisit them, even though we think that we're over it. There's always something more to learn. There's always another layer of awareness and healing that we can gain when these moments come up throughout our lives. And so if you're feeling over anxious and fearful or anything like that, like your mind is playing tricks on you, I think it's important to just know you're okay. Go into your sanctuary, your safe place, and then start to just really detach, right? And understand that this is happening from a mental level and work on that, right? Like specifically, everything around you is okay. Okay. All right. So let's go into the sign of Taurus. Put these cards back. Okay, Taurus, for you, this full moon is happening in your 11th house up here, and it is opposing the sun in your 5th house. So, themes around the outer world, your outer world, are coming up right now. Okay, this is not what you know, but more who you know. So at this time, maybe you are socializing a little bit more. Maybe you feel like you need to put yourself out there a little bit more to open doors of opportunity. Often I do get the 11th house is very opportunistic, right? Like you're at the right place at the right time, or a certain person comes through, has a certain resources or knows a guy, or it's like, oh yeah, I can based off of one situation will lead to another situation that opens the door for more. Okay. And so I don't know if you're looking for more. That's what it feels like to me. There's something that you want to acquire or accomplish that is going to um require that you step out of your internal self, right? Because here again, we're looking at Neptune playing a role here in your 12th house. It is going to retrograde all the way back into your 11th house, but at some point it's coming back, right? So even though I feel like you may want to stay in your personal cocoon, um the universe, or maybe even your goals or something like the fire within you, is pushing you to step outside of that right now to reach for something that you want. And again, it requires you to come out of your comfort zone and to be social and talk to people about these goals. Again, it's opposing your 5th house of creativity, of passion. What does light your fire? What are you excited about right now? If you are not sure yet, you just feel the pull of this new idea or this spark coming through, and you're going back and forth and talking to people or researching or trying to see what opportunities are out there. I do think by the new moon solar eclipse, because Virgo and Mercury are playing a big role here, it's going to give you some clarity as to what route to take, what direction to take, and what really is firing you up and setting up this passion. The secret here and the antidote to figuring all of this out is Jupiter in Cancer in your 3rd house. So, this again has to do with other people and communicating these thoughts and ideas and new passions with other people. And throughout this process, you'll also be learning a lot about yourself and what it is that you want. Okay. Um, yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the Taurus. So let's go in and see what cards come through. I know it starts off blurry. I need to the camera here, but it'll do for today. All right, Taurus, how is this full moon going to affect the Taurus? Let's get some more insight and intuitive clarity. Taurus, please. Yeah, so this is going out with the Chariot, new direction. Oh, I love that. There's that spark, that passion, something that is igniting your soul right now. Okay, going into this new direction here with the Chariot. I think this is, again, it says a lot, the astrology and everything that I brought up earlier, looking at the astrology, because it's like a soul calling, right? Like something that is pushing you or pulling you toward another direction right now. And maybe you can't really pinpoint it yet, but you feel it, right? Like your higher self is saying, hey, Taurus, let's go here now. Let's look into this. Let's try this out, and along the way, as the more and more that you dive into this new pursuit, the more excited you'll be. And I do think that, there's luck on your side right now with Jupiter playing a role here. And so maybe as you are moving down this new path, more and more opportunities start to show themselves, and the universe is sort of giving you these little breadcrumbs that you're following, and it's giving you hope, it's inspiring you, it's motivating you, and it's sort of solidifying that yes, you are on the right track right now. But it's important to make sure that you do not go against your intuition and what really feels right to you. Okay. All right, so that's Taurus. Go into Gemini. Okay, so for the Gemini, this moon is falling in your 10th house, and it is opposing the sun in your 4th house. So themes around work and themes around family. For you, it does feel a push and pull for me. Like intuitively, I'm getting that maybe there's a lot of things going on outside at work, in like the responsibilities and the obligations that you have are taking you away from home. Okay. And I don't know if you feel good about that or not. It does feel with Neptune and Saturn retrograding back into the 10th house that there's unfinished business regarding a work situation. But Neptune is standing out to me in a way where it's making me feel like you've been unclear about a work situation or about some of these more rigid responsibilities that you have. Maybe you're working too hard and it's unnecessary. It's just like this haziness, this uncertainty around a work thing, your work life, or the fact that you need to work. I don't know. But it is also affecting how people see you, your reputation, things like that. And with this full moon, because during a full moon, things are at its max, right? Like they've culminated to its highest point. I do think that for the Gemini, it feels like a massive breakthrough for me. It's like enough is enough. I can't do this again, right? Because something that you've already experienced in this type of environment that I've been talking about, is like coming back again, and you just cannot do it again, basically, right? So the North Node here is making me feel like you're going into a new, higher, more free direction here with the moon. And down here with the family and the home, I think by the solar eclipse, new moon in Virgo coming up later in the month, and I think what did I say? September 21st or 22nd. You're going to have a lot of clarity around the fact that, you need to spend more time at home or your family needs more attention. There's a lot of communication around home and family during that time. And something that I have not mentioned is that a day after this solar eclipse, Mars is going into the sign of Scorpio. And on top of that, this solar eclipse new moon is going to be in the 29th degree of Virgo, which is the anaretic degree, which is definitely amping up a lot of this energy. And it'll be like that for all of us. But for some reason, this is coming up for you as I am reading for you. I do think that maybe the solar eclipse will be more impactful. That's when you're definitely going to sort of put your foot down and make a big change as it relates to how your outer world is impacting your inner world at home with your family. And you see that clearly, and you're putting your foot down, making a decision to really make some changes. Again, looking at Jupiter here in the second house, this is the anecdote to that, right? This is where you should be looking to help you with this energy, which is really seeing what it is that you value in life, what is more important. That's what Jupiter is trying to show you. Is it your work life? Is it all of this outer, stressful, obligated, restrictive responsibility stuff? Or is it your home and family? All right. Focus. Okay. Gemini. How is this full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces impacting the Gemini at this time, please? Second house is governed by the sign of Taurus. That's where that Jupiter energy is falling through. What do you really value, right? These are your convictions here with the Hierophant, your belief systems, who you are at your core of self, right? You're definitely going to overcome this, what seems like at this time, super rigid, super serious, super important situation at work. But when you really think about it here with the Ace of Swords, and you find that clarity when Mercury and hits that solar eclipse, and everything that I was talking about later in the month, forget it. It's just like a no-brainer, right? Like you overcame this obstacle, it feels like this hard energy, and it's just like you broke through it, right? Like you did it because you focused on what is more important here with the Hierophant, and you rose above the situation. Okay, there's something about that, rising above it. Okay, I don't know if you have to get over a certain hump, break the obstacle, go around it, doesn't matter, but it does feel like you're going to the other side of this serious matter, which brings so much clarity, so much peace of mind, so much truth and honesty around not just your environmental situation that you were going through, but also who you are, what you stand for, what you believe in at the same time. Okay. All right. So who's next? Cancer. Hey, Cancer, this moon is falling in your 9th house. So you have the moon in the 9th house opposing the sun in the 3rd house, which we're speaking about, what is a good word for this? Like I'm getting breakthrough, but it's like this shooting star. I don't know. I read intuitively, right? So the astrology, even when I'm doing astrology, like I do get intuitive hits as well, but it does feel like that. Like you're shooting for the heights, right? Like you're shooting for the moon here in the ninth house. Mundane, in the mundane, yes, this does involve some sort of um journey, okay, whether that's a literal journey that you're going on in a vehicle, in some like transportation, like going far, taking a drive, or going to another city, state, something like that, or just a mental, even emotional journey here, because the moon is in Pisces and there's a watery element to this. Maybe you're learning something new, there's a new subject or um hobby interests that you have that you want to pursue and you want to really take it somewhere. I'm getting for somebody here, it's like you get excited about certain hobbies or certain new interests and you start them, but this time you really want to go all in. And uh, it's opposing how you communicate. Okay, so your communication and how maybe you feel just a little misunderstood, or maybe there's something about this new idea or new belief system that you don't understand so much. Maybe for some of you it is like an actual belief system, like a religious thing or a spiritual thing that you're trying to understand. um and I do think that with Saturn and Neptune here at the peak of your chart, like this is so outer worldly. The karmic aspect of this is like, how are you going to be seen if you continue to pursue this new interest? How are you going to be seen if you go down this journey completely? Are people going to misunderstand why you are going down this journey because you're having a hard time communicating what this journey really is to you and what it means? I think that during the solar eclipse, when it's in Virgo, Mercury is also going to be there. That's going to be the time for you to articulate this new thing. Where you're at. I'm getting maybe some of you, it's not new, but this is where you're at. And maybe for some of you, you want to move away, you want to go far, whether that's literally or metaphorically. And during this time in the middle of September is when you're going to be able to articulate that very well. I think that it's important here with Jupiter in the first house at this time to just really stay true to you and who you are. Your sense of self is going to be super important here. Um, and as long as you maintain that and you remember that, I think you'll be okay. If you get away from who you are just for the sake of pleasing the outer world, your work, you know, your reputation, that's when you may go wrong. Okay, because this is going to directly affect your reputation and what you're known for by you pursuing this new thing. So if you're apprehensive about it because you don't want people to think something different of you, that's where the healing lies. That's where you need to focus on, is why do you care about how people think? Stay true to you is the answer. All right. Let's see what the cards have to say for the Cancer. How is this full moon affecting the Cancer at this time, please? Cancer, Cancer. Oh, there you are. Need to pay attention to your higher self. Never, ever go against it. You may not like it. It's like you've cultivated a name for yourself, right? With that Jupiter, I'm sorry, with the Neptune and Saturn energy. you've worked so hard to build this reputation and solidify your stamp on the world. But now that you have this journey that you want to go on, it's making you feel like bummed out, basically, that this is happening, right? Like you want to follow your higher self and your intuition and what it has to say, but you don't feel good about what's going on, you know? And I do think that this takes a steady, practical approach, okay, to stay calm, stay grounded here with the Knight of Pentacles, and, um, you know, make the right decisions as you go along this journey, step by step, day by day. You know, go and do it correctly, right? Like, go all in, commit to it. I'm getting, you know, as you're walking this journey, metaphorically or literally, you are planting seeds and creating a path. It's almost as though instead of the path being ahead of you, the Cancer is creating the path behind you. So this is making me feel like, are you doing this for family? Are you doing this for children? Are you doing this for legacy, tradition? There's something about that coming through, and maybe you're bummed out that you're the one that has to be responsible for that, right? Like, why do you have to be the one to do it? But it is your calling in some way, and you know it. You're just not interested in doing this so much. And that's where the Saturn Neptune lies, the karmic situation. Neptune may be bringing this delusional thinking or way of seeing this opportunity or this new journey. And I think that you need to get past the Neptune illusion and get to the truth of it, which is happening in the middle of September. And once you do that, I think that you'll have more direction and a clearer plan to take this journey, if that makes sense. Okay. All right. Okay, so let's go to Leo. Okay, put these cards back. Leo. So for Leo risings, the moon is falling in the 8th house of intimacy, intimate relationships, or intimacy, your partner, the bonds, the soul, spiritual bonds that you have with the person. And it's opposing your 2nd house of your values and what it is that is most important for you. So here we have themes around another person. And for the 8th house, I always see it as more singular than multiple. Okay, so there could be one person that's playing a big role at this time and taking a lot of presence or a lot of space in your life. Not to say that that's a bad thing. I think it's good for the most of you. It's just amplifying certain feelings that you have about what is really important and what you really want out of this close, intimate relationship. And with Saturn and Neptune coming into Pisces and Neptune playing a big role here, it's making me feel like maybe you've been under a little spell, or maybe there's been some illusion around a partner and what they mean to you. Okay. Your partner's financial situation, your partner's job situation may be of impact and of focus. This full moon isn't, and I don't want to sound bad, but it's not really about you. It's about your person. Okay. What are they going through in their lives that may be affecting you? And as a result, you're able to see, especially with this solar eclipse coming through in September 21st, that whether or not this person and what they have going on, or their life, or their belief systems, or their values align with yours. Okay, so for some of you, yes, it's going to be a good match. And maybe for others, you're going to see like, well, maybe not so much. But there is a situation that you found yourself in before that is happening again. Okay. So it's like revisiting a previous conversation, revisiting a previous maybe disagreement or something like that. And at this point, it's like, wait a minute, like, how are we here again? Why is this happening again? Um, you're looking at Jupiter in the 12th house to help you navigate through this situation. So Jupiter in the 12th house is expanding on your psychological state here. I'm thinking for some of you that there's an illusion that's happening with Neptune, this fogginess and uncertainty, or you don't have clarity about this relationship. And Jupiter is amplifying this clarity mentally for you. Like, you're going to have some awareness around it if you look for it and you go within. Okay, so even though I said this full moon eclipse is about your other person, in order for you to get clear and have a better idea and understanding about this relationship, you need to go into your own psyche and psychological state, right? Like, what behaviors or patterns do you have that enable you to stay under this spell of sorts? Does that make sense? And allow that to happen. So there's a lot going on there. I'm wondering if when I do your general reading, if any of this will come up, but I do feel that there's a lot to unpack. It's just more layers that are happening here, especially for you, Leo risings. You have Pluto coming into your 7th house. So this could be like a start of a long term change and transformation happening as it relates to you and just relationships in general, and what you stand for, what you allow, your behaviors when it comes to relating with other people. So a lot happening for the Leo at this time. All right. Okay. Pull some cards. How is this full moon eclipse in Pisces affecting the Leo at this time? Let's get some more information. Okay. Yeah. So you're hesitant. Okay. You have some boundaries, or your walls are up, right? Like, you're just looking at your person like, I don't know if I am down and or on board with what you have going on, or I don't know if I can believe this, right? Like, there's just doubt, and you are protecting yourself very strongly here. Obviously it's a real bummer and it doesn't make you feel good, but what's coming out of this is freedom. What's coming out of this is the chance to make a change. And when you make this change, this also has to do with Jupiter, right? It's the wheel of fortune. It's ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter's in that 12th house that we were talking about in Cancer. The mental change and the healing, right? Maybe there's some shadow work that's necessary here in order for you to heal these certain, behaviors you have in relationship. And once you start to do this work, it's not going to be an overnight change. As I said, Pluto is transiting your 7th house for the next, 18 years or so. So this is a gradual change, and it's step by step, right? It's day by day, year by year. You're going to see improvements as you move forward, as you heal, and as you change your behaviors and your patterns when it comes to relationships, as I said. So once you start doing some of this mental shadow work, I do think that you'll start to see improvements and um, changes within your relationships. It doesn't have to be this one person though. I understand if like you're married and you're committed and like that's different, right? Like maybe you will go through these changes with your person, but if you're not committed and this is just relationships in general, you will start to cultivate better relationships because I do think that this full moon is going to help you see like enough is enough. Why do I always put myself in these situations? Just this is just the same situation, just another person. I need to make a change, right? Okay. Okay, so who's next? Virgo. All right, so Virgo, the full moon is happening in your seventh house and it's opposing the sun in your first house. So probably going to be a little similar to Leo, just because the seventh house also has to do with relationships. But I do think this is more in general and open. The people in your life, right? The people you are close to. So it's not just your romantic person, it's also your family members, your children, your parents, things like that. Maybe your mother specifically, because the moon does rule the speak to the feminine aspects. Um, Let's see. So yeah, I mean, there's a karmic situation happening, okay? And I do feel like it signifies how you get close to people and what happens there. Okay, maybe some of you keep your distance or have been hurt in the past here with Saturn. Um, and it's revisiting some of these pains that you've had before when it comes to a really close, intimate encounter with somebody, because we're discussing eighth house stuff here with Neptune in the first, going into the seventh. So there's a learning lesson regarding how close you allow yourself to get with other people. I do feel a breakthrough happening between you and other people as well. Um, as you see more and more how your behaviors and patterns affect relationships, or even how somebody else's behaviors and patterns affect it. Um, Later in the month, once we have the solar eclipse in Virgo, it'll just be more about you, right? Like maybe right now with this full moon, it's a little messy, it's a little weird energy. You're thinking about the others instead of putting yourself first. And later in September, you'll be putting yourself first and having more clarity about who you are and your sense of self within a relationship dynamic. Um, because sometimes maybe you tend to lose yourself in relationships, lose your identity, lose what's important to you, not put yourself first. And maybe we're having a revisit around here we go again with the Virgo, not paying attention to yourself and putting too much emphasis on others. And something happens where later in the month, it starts to be attention on you. And Jupiter here as the what is this, like blessing coming through in the form of opportunity. So maybe an opportunity happens at some point within this time frame that allows you to see like, hey, like I can pay attention to myself, I am important. This opportunity is opening the doors to something great, something that I've been wanting to accomplish, or and it's just like, this is exactly what I want. This is exactly what I've been waiting for, especially in the middle of September. I think that that's when it's going to happen. And you'll start to maybe be excited about that. But there has to be a learning lesson, though, right? You can't just forget about these patterns that you have in relationships just because something is coming in to distract you and to give you an opportunity. There has to be growth that comes through that happens from this. If not, you may be wasting this opportunity. Okay. All right. Virgo. What's up with the Virgo? How is this full moon in Pisces playing out for the Virgo, please? Overcoming. Ooh, beautiful. Abundant, fertile, creative, beautiful, attention. Ooh, a lot of attention here I'm getting. And the moon. So overcoming this for sure. Getting some attention for sure, as I said. But there's some sort of uncertainty happening. This moon is going to affect you strongly. Okay. I mean, it's in Pisces. It's your opposite sign. You're going to have the new moon solar eclipse in your sign, along with your ruler Mercury there in your sign, all together September 22nd during that new moon. So something is affecting you here. There is a definite need to go deep and to identify feelings, behaviors that you have around your capability to love yourself and to nurture yourself and to accept yourself and feel comfortable in your body and in your surroundings, or accept that you do deserve more. You do, once this opportunity comes through with Jupiter and you see it and it lands in your lap, it's like, if you don't take it, then there's a problem here, right? Psychologically, there's trauma that's preventing you from accepting blessings. Okay, maybe blessings come into your life all the time, and because you're so used to putting others first and not loving yourself completely, you pass them up. And I think that Saturn and Neptune coming through to show you again this pattern that you have, again, take advantage of this opportunity and get through it. There's a healing moment here and a good opportunity for you to really break free of these patterns that you always have as it relates to relationships. Okay. All right. Libra. Okay, so the moon is in your 6th house and it's opposing the sun in your 12th house. So this could be a little deep for you as well, Libra. I mean, the 6th house has to do with your day-to-day life. Okay, so maybe that doesn't feel, or on at first thought doesn't seem very deep, because it's just your mundane world, your routine. You get up, you get dressed, you go to work, you come home, like whatever. But it could be like routine health, lifestyle, routine thought processes, right? Like, I'm getting something about your routine being, you get up every day and you get dressed and you go to work and you do all the things. But then at night, when you come back home or when you unwind, you allow your mind to take over here. It's like, even though the 6th house does not have to do so much with the outer world, I am getting how you can compartmentalize, which you do very well, these two sides of you. When you have to show up, you show up, of course, always. And you do the routines, but then later when you have the time, you can go into this what is the word, like, I don't know, like just overcritical space, right? Like this mental, personal, private place of dissatisfaction more than anything. I'm getting in outwardly you do the things, internally you're dissatisfied, you're not satisfied, right? Like you're not content, which I mean, I guess it's the way of the world and how we all are. But I do think that this full moon is, you should really identify some of the routines that you have and maybe make some changes to be able to help your internal mental state. So if you start to incorporate more meditation or more physical exercise, or just a more peaceful routine, then that is going to correlate to your internal mental state of being more peaceful, if that makes sense. I do think that regardless, because you're a Libra rising, your 12th house is in Virgo, there's never really a peaceful state mentally. So that's why it's so important to cultivate these habits and routines that inspire and create that peaceful place. It's like work that you have to do to really maintain that calmness and that serenity. Um, Jupiter is happening in your 10th house, taking place here. So there is this sense of like recognition and a little bit of popularity I'm getting. Because Jupiter talks about blessing, and this is happening in like a public place for you, maybe you feeling accomplishment and recognizing that you have achieved something, that you're working on this, whether you've achieved it or not, maybe you're at least working on it, is going to help with getting out of some of this mental activity of like personal private stuff, right? Like sort of distract yourself, I guess. And I'm not for that completely when it comes to healing, but maybe for you at this point, maybe it's unnecessary to put so much emphasis and focus on this overthinking and over criticizing, and feeling like you're not satisfied or nothing is perfect. Maybe it's unnecessary. Like, why do you have to really dive into all of these thoughts of things not being perfect? Instead, focus on your work, focus on the name that you're making for yourself in the outer world, and at the same time create better habits that will again sustain this calm, peaceful energy mentally, build better habits that will in turn propel your work, your job, your title, your status, things like that. Health stuff may be coming up for you. I can't, I have to say that before I move on. So your health may be going to get seen, going to do a physical, get a checkup, pull some lab work, things like that. There's something happening here that maybe you knew already, because again, there's this karmic element here with Neptune and Saturn. I do feel for some of you, something's genetic. Okay, so you want to get ahead of it. So yeah, look into that. Okay, let's go into the tarot. All right, what is it for the Libra? How is this full moon eclipse in Pisces affecting the Libra? Page of Swords, very Libran. Communication, research. Seven of Cups, there's that Neptune. So for you, the Neptune transit may be affecting you a little strongly. There's something, okay. Yeah, I am getting something about the physical, like the health here. There's uncertainty. This could be mental health as well. You're diving in and you're researching about these health issues that you're having. And I do think that that is making you worried and concerned here with the Eight of Swords. But because there's so much uncertainty and illusion around something, yeah, as long as you continue to detach yourself from overthinking, from worrying, from being fearful, and really just staying practical and logical, the Neptune and Saturn transit is probably working on your emotions or working on your thoughts here. You don't know something, okay? You're not going to know this thing yet. Um, and maybe by the solar eclipse and later in September, maybe you'll have more clarity. But you really, really need to work on the fact that, you can't let this bring you down. You can't let this just run your mind and stay in this fearful state the entire time just because you're uncertain and there's a lot of illusion around the situation. The need to get the truth. Okay, truth is truth. You will know the truth once you get it. Until then, you try your best to stay calm and stay practical and stay grounded here. Um, the truth will come at some point. Until then, just detach and distract yourself with other things. Okay. Scorpio. Okay, so for the Scorpio rising, the moon is in your 5th house, opposing the sun in your 11th house. All right, so here we have themes around creativity and passion. Okay, what is really fueling you? And it's more emotional and watery, obviously, because this is a Pisces transit. So it could be fulfilling you emotionally. So, what fulfills you emotionally? What hobbies, what interests? Is it artistic? Are you painting? Are you making music? Some sort of creative, like, endeavor, right? Pursuit that you are working on. And there may be, because it's opposing the sun, some uncertainty around opportunities for this. Okay, like where can you take this? Where can you go with this creative thing? And later in the month during the solar eclipse in Virgo, there could be some clarity or some breakthroughs and a literal opportunity coming your way as it relates to this creative pursuit that you have. And because Neptune and Saturn are here coming from the 6th house into the 5th, your day to day routine and how you are managing this creative pursuit or how you're building it and bringing it to life will play a big role. It's like maybe you tried to do this before, but your daily habits and your daily routines prevented you from really taking this far um, and expressing yourself outwardly here with the 11th house. And so the karmic lesson here for you is, what can you do differently in your day to day that will help you cultivate and build a good routine to really focus and put some time, energy, and effort into this creative project that will in turn propel you outwardly to be seen, to be known, to meet new people, to socialize, and to ultimately bring in opportunity. I think that the secret here with Jupiter in the 9th house is just expand, right? Because Jupiter expands, make it bigger, okay? Step out of the box, take some risks, really go all out, right? Like, don't limit yourself, is what Jupiter is trying to say here. And this is the journey. It's about the journey. It's not about the destination. Okay. I was going to say something else. What was I going to say? Oh, If it's not a creative thing, it could be both, or just your children playing a big role at this time. Maybe they have some sort of creative pursuit that you want to help with, and as you change up your routine, make some time for them as well, to cultivate this creative thing. There's also dating, flirting, passion. This also rules sexual experiences as well. So maybe your libido is pretty heightened, or you're feeling just more highly sexual at this time. So if so, I mean, it's a good opportunity to take advantage of that as well. Okay, Scorpio. What's coming through for the Scorpio? What is this full moon in Pisces bringing up for you guys? Scorpio rising, please. Seven of Wands. We just want calm, then just trying to stay intact. Maybe there's just like a lot of stuff going on. You have a lot of things to do. It's like one thing after another, and it's busy. I'm getting busy, right? Like maybe you're staying busy. And throughout that time, you are trying your best to just stay calm, stay grounded, stay present. Really excited, super excited with the Page of Wands here. This is definitely fifth house energy, and being playful and bringing back this youthful, vibrant, colorful energy around you, getting out of this dark, deep, heavy type of state that maybe you were in before. Maybe you were very just sensitive or emotional, or you were just floating on these deep waters, right? And trying to just get past a certain phase. And now, even though you may find yourself that you're more busy, it is still uh like, I'm getting the word awake, right? Like, you're alive, you're awake, your eyes are open, you are present, you're conscious, right? You feel more activated, if that makes sense. Um, and you're overcoming some really stagnant, darker, deeper energies, trying to maintain a more light hearted energy. Okay. All right. Where are we? Sagittarius. Okay. So for the Sagittarius, the moon is falling in your fourth house and opposing your fifth house. I'm sorry, your 10th house here, where the sun's at. So, roots, right? Like developing your roots, or putting roots down. This is at the lowest part of the chart here. So, things that regard home and family and traditions, are coming through. You may be focused a lot on home life, and simultaneously this need for creation, because Neptune and Saturn are here so close to the fifth house going into the fourth. It's like, I don't know, I'm getting that there's more of an emphasis on home, but incorporating creativity into the home life somehow. Okay, so at home being really creative, or with family being really creative. And there is the karmic role here, the lesson to be learned, maybe about how you can have fun and feel joy in your home life, or how you can have fun and feel joy with your family, is coming up here. Okay, so maybe you've been in a more stagnant, I'm getting the word dry, not super fun, if that makes sense. And it's like, okay, enough of that, right? Like, I should be able to create a fun environment, a joyful sanctuary, safe, loving, nurturing home here. And I'm getting a lot of like fantasy or dreams or even artistic like movies, or I'm getting scenes in the home, right? Like, how can I say it? Like cultivating a type of home or family that is whimsical. The word whimsical wants to come through, and just, loving and lighthearted and fun. But there are issues around, not issues, but topics around your reputation, your work environment, the name that you're making for yourself, are coming through. And later in the month during the solar eclipse, these topics will be more pronounced and present at that time. The secret here is, or to help with this, is the Jupiter in the 8th house. So this is your intimate relationships. Maybe your partner is playing a big role here, turning to your partner to help with creating this loving home, and also balancing your need for focus on job or work or obligations at the same time. Okay, like not afraid to open up, be vulnerable, and feel like you don't have to do it all on your own. You have somebody there to help you as you sort of balance the home life and the work life, or the inner life and the outer life, if that makes sense. But later in the month, there will be more clarity and more opportunity for you to spend that time cultivating these things. Okay. All right. I don't know why it does that. I do have to figure this out. Again, this is super new for me to, I'm using like other software that I've never used before. Okay, anyway. So Sagittarius, how is this full moon impacting you? What more information can we get for the Sagittarius, please? 7 of Swords, 7 of Cups, the Star. Well, if you follow my readings, you know how I feel about the 7 of Swords. I mean, there's escape in some way, escaping a situation. It's like having all these options here that you don't know what's under these bowls, right? Like it's option 1, you pick up the cup, it's this thing. It's option 2, you pick up the cup, it's something different. And it's just like, oh, which one do I pick? Which one do I do? Which way do I go? All for the sake of your wish fulfillment here with the Star. And I think that you'll get that. But the 7 of Swords is like, how are you doing that? I do feel like there's an element of cutting corners, of trying to get something fast, right? Like quick moves or quick accomplishments, or and figuring out the options you have to get something really quickly, which is telling me like you're not really going to put authentic energy into it, or like it's not going to have substance and meaning if you cut corners and you sort of, no offense, half-ass the situation. Okay. Yeah, it just feels like that for sure. This is, I think this is more of just like something to keep in mind. If you find yourself cutting corners or trying to get somewhere quick, like a quick fix, or I just don't know if that's the way to go, all for the sake of getting your wish fulfillment. I can't tell you with this small reading whether or not it's something to do that's the right thing to do or not, but I think that that's for you to know, and that's for you to learn. Maybe you're thinking like this right now under this full moon energy, because Neptune and Saturn are so closely tied to it. But later during the solar eclipse in Virgo, you'll have the clarity you need, and maybe at that point you'll know, like, okay, I can't do this, right? Like, I can't cut corners. I have to go all in. And I think that once you realize that, you're going to feel better about it, because this wish fulfillment, that whatever this represents, once you get it and you put all of yourself into it and you don't cut corners, it's going to mean something. It's going to mean so much more to you once you achieve this thing, compared to you achieving it by cheating, basically, or by cutting corners. Does that make sense? Okay. Who's next? Capricorn. All right. So for the Capricorn, the full moon is falling in your 3rd house, and it's opposing the sun in your 9th house. So here we have themes around communication. Okay, so if you are having a hard time communicating something, more in the lines of a journey that you want to take, and somewhere, whether that's literal or metaphorical, that could be coming up, right? Like, how are you articulating yourself? How are you coming across as you speak about these things? There could be some karmic lessons to learn around what you say, and when you say it, and how you say it, and how you go about it. You want to achieve something, you want to pursue something new here, or just dive a little deeper into something that's already existing. But there's a lot of research that you need to do in order to go that way. And I think you're okay with the research. Maybe this is not necessarily a problem. Maybe it's just more so something that you're working on, or a project that you have going on. But learning how to articulate and how to communicate is the hang up, right? Like, this is like, oh, if only I knew how to say it, if only I knew enough. I'm getting that. It maybe you're unprepared. Is it that? I'm sorry. It's just, for a Capricorn to not be prepared is different. um Maybe even, I don't know, maybe there's a need to, in order for you to prepare, in order for you to feel more confident communicating this thing, maybe there is a need for you to break out of your comfort zone, or to pursue something different. Like, the fact that you are having, that communication is coming up for you so strongly, the fact that it's coming up makes me feel like it's going to bring in an interest that you've never had before. Does that make sense? Somehow, some way, you find yourself needing to articulate yourself, needing to communicate and express yourself and have a conversation or something like that. And because of that, you develop a new interest. Because of that, maybe your belief system on something changes. Because of that, you educationally, you pursue something different, or spiritually, you pursue something different that you've never pursued before. Okay, so this is going to maybe bring up a different, like, spiritual modality that you've never tapped into, that you've never tried. That is going to help you open up. I'm getting the throat chakra for the Capricorn risings. Maybe you'll start working on, like, voice things, or humming, or maybe you're trying, like, you're taking singing lessons. I don't know. But the 7th house is where Jupiter is falling here, and your relationships are going to help you figure this out. Okay, the people in your life are going to guide you, and maybe I'm also getting that for some of you, you are using some of these people as practice. Maybe you have to maybe it's like a school project or something like that, or a work thing where you have to like present something and you're running it by somebody else, or I don't know, but the people in your life are going to help you. You're going to use them as practice, I'm getting. All right, let's see what's coming through here with the cards for the Capricorn for this full moon in Pisces energy. Ooh, Page of Cups. Eight of Swords, yeah. Like, look at that, right? Like there's, like she cannot, it makes me feel like you're tongue-tied. Like you cannot speak about what you want. There's a little bit of like romantic energy coming up here for you, Capricorn, and somebody in your life at this time, whether it's you or someone else, is having a tough time articulating and expressing their feelings for another person, or for having a hard time expressing their feelings about just relationships or something like that. The Empress here, it's like somebody sees somebody as an empress, right? Like the package, the total package, but they're tongue tied, like they cannot express it. They don't know the words. They don't have the words. They have the feeling, but they don't know how to say it. Okay. And this could be you towards someone or someone toward you, or even both, right? There's a lot of fantasy and a lot of thinking about this person or this thing. And I think at the end of it, the Empress is going to, like, the Empress energy, if you tap into it and you feel confident and you accept yourself and you love yourself, and you know that, there's no way that you can go wrong because the universe made you perfect, right? Like, it's going to build confidence, I think. But in the meantime, the Eight of Swords, which is this anxiety, this inability to make a move, this inability to say the thing, is really hindering a potential connection here. So this is where you want to focus in on, is how can you break free? How can you open up this throat chakra and really communicate and express yourself? So that way this Page of Cups and the Empress can really merge together. Okay. All right, who's next? Aquarius. All right, so for the Aquarius, we have the moon in your second house opposing the sun in your eighth house. All right, so here we have themes around money and what you value. Okay, what's more important what are the important things in life, right? Doesn't have to be material, but it can be. Um, and it could just be simultaneously both material and your value system, your belief system, right? Like what you stand for, your convictions. And it is opposing another person here. Okay, so someone in your life, an intimate relationship that you have going on, is seeing you in a certain light right now. Okay, they are seeing what it is that is really important to you. And I do feel for you, like I'm getting this image of the sun shining the light on the moon, like as though maybe you haven't spoken about this so much. Maybe you're more guarded about what it is that you really want within this relationship dynamic, and this other person representing the eighth house and the sun is like shining a flashlight toward these feelings and these thoughts that you're having. And so maybe you feel a little exposed. I'm getting that. I'm getting that the Aquarius rising feels exposed, and a little vulnerable, okay, at this time. I do think here with Neptune and Saturn playing a role and retrograding into your second house, there is going to be some sort of lesson that you need to learn regarding communicating um, what it is that you really value. Okay, so is it a sense of like you don't want to put yourself out there and really say, hey, this is what's important to me, because you feel like the other person will not respond to that, or you feel like the other person does not represent what you really want. Therefore, there is concern that if this person does not represent your wants, desires, what you value, then you may lose them. Okay. So there's the lesson here. Is this the right person for you? Is this relationship really what you want? Right? Are there elements of this relationship that go against your value system and what you stand for? Jupiter in the 6th house here is helping you with creating a more balanced and healthy lifestyle. So you don't put yourself in really intense, intimate relationship situations. So looking at your habits, right? Like those situations you put yourself in daily, maybe it's like social media or how you connect with other people in a more romantic setting, the people that you're attracted to or that are attracted to you, like changing your routine, maybe not going onto that website or that app, maybe not spending so much time talking to this person or really like entertaining all of their intensity, will help you with detaching from them and really seeing like where it is that you want, okay, out of this relationship or out of relationships in general. Later on in September, when we get to the solar eclipse in Virgo, that's when you'll probably end up shining the light back on them, right? And there'll be more clarity about what they really stand for and who they are and what they represent to you in your life at that time. And there may be some communication and talks about that at that time as well. Okay. Aquarius. There you go. All right. What is this full moon in Pisces bringing for the Aquarius, please? Yep. 2 of Cups. There's the relationship right there with the 8 of Pentacles. Oh, and the Empress again. Love that. Beautiful. This is the value. Okay, what we spoke about, what you really want out of intimate relationships, what's important to you, what you stand for. Okay, this relationship just in general is coming up at this time during this full moon. And for some of you, it is going to solidify it and make you see that with this person, you become the Empress and you feel accepted, loved, nurtured, and seen, right? I'm getting something about like, does this person see you for who you are, right? With the sun, them representing the sun and shining their light onto you, the moon representing the moon at this during this transit. And once that vulnerability, once they see the vulnerability, once you're able to feel safe being vulnerable with them, is when this bond just starts to get stronger and stronger. Now, not everyone is going to experience it in that way. Some of you will have the opportunity to see that this person, it may not be the person that represents what you value, but because of them coming into your life, you will now see exactly what you want by experiencing what you don't want with this person, right? And so you're either going to be in one or the other. And even if you really, really want this to work, but it's just not the right one for you, I think during the solar eclipse, you're going to see that. That's when you're going to have your answer either way. You'll know if you're in the group where your relationship is getting stronger at this time because you're going to feel it and it's going to feel right. If you have doubts, if you feel shitty, if, this whole situation makes you feel pushed away and not validated and unloved, then that's your answer right there, right? But if this situation makes you feel safe and secure and seen and validated, then you know that this is the right one, or this is where you should be going with them. Does that make sense? Okay. And then last but not least, we have the star of the show, Pisces. So obviously the moon is falling in your first house, and it's opposing the sun in your seventh. So themes around the self, the I am, quote unquote, are coming through here. Your physical state as well. You may be working on your looks, working on your appearance, on maybe you're redoing your hair, changing your hair, maybe, I don't know, but definitely the self, the body is coming through strongly. And Neptune and Saturn are coming through here and showing lessons of, I think that your lesson has to do more with like valuing yourself here. Okay, because it's coming from the second house and retrograding back into the first. So loving yourself, like standing up for yourself, defending yourself even, and like really seeing where you've maybe have neglected self in recent days or recent months, and then starting to feel rejuvenated and motivated and inspired to love yourself once again. And that is reflective of your outer space, right? Like if you internally are starting to feel a love for yourself and excited again about putting yourself first, then you're going to start to do things externally that is reflective of that, right? Which is like getting up, dressing up, doing your hair, putting on your makeup, I mean, working out, like whatever it is, because you are doing something of service for yourself instead of for someone else, which the seventh house does refer to the other people in our lives. And there may be some clarity and some communication coming through later in September with your close personal one-on-one relationships. And I do think that it does make me feel very supportive. Okay, so you're the people in your life are starting to see like, whoa, Pisces, like look at you, there's something different, you're glowing, or you look more youthful or refreshed or something like that. And I'm happy to see that, right? Like they're supporting this new you, basically. And it is a sense because of the fact that it is your full moon happening, that right, every sign gets a full moon every year. So this is your time to shine, basically. And Jupiter in the fifth, forget it. I mean, this is creative, beautiful, sexual, flirtatious, passionate, fiery energy coming through, and that you are definitely exuding at this time. And you're probably going to be getting a lot of attention from the people in your life. And I just feel like it is very supportive in general. And the lesson for you here with Neptune and Pisces is, hey, don't forget about yourself. Love yourself. Put yourself first. All right. Okay. Pisces, get some more information for the Pisces during this full moon in Pisces at this time, please. Yes, Nine of Pentacles. Six of Pentacles, beautiful. Two of Wands. So the Nine of Pentacles talks about you just having it all, okay? Feeling really good in your body, feeling really good in your environment. You've worked to get here. There is a reciprocal energy around you, whether that with the other people in your life, or even just maybe one relationship where it's like, I see you, you see me. I do for you, you do for me. And there is validation and just an exchange of balanced, harmonious energy happening. And I do think that this is going to be the beginning of a new idea, a new passion, a new pursuit that you want to see come to life. And I feel it to be creative. I feel it to be like this expressive, colorful, expansive, bold move that you maybe want to take. And the Two of Wands is representing this sudden interest to make this move or to create these opportunities that involve some sort of creative energy for you. Okay, so I love that. But other than that, that is everyone. Thank you so much for listening and tuning in. If you like these videos, please give me a like on the video, or comment, or I don't know, something. And I don't know, I enjoyed it. Maybe I'll continue to do this for the full moons every month. I'm going to get back to your general readings pretty soon. I took a break, but I feel inspired and motivated to come back into it. I am a Scorpio rising, or I have a Scorpio first house. And so all of this is happening in my fifth house. So I am feeling that creative burst to really dive into my passions, that being tarot and astrology. So thank you for tuning in and listening. I hope you have a great full moon in Pisces, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.